Can you give me privilege to?
Yeah. Then
I think it started.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so we are going to discuss. We'll know to know about the Oracle architecture, how it works. Okay. So generally, what is a database? So can anyone means if you have some any information or know about the database? What is database actually?
Yes, Rikam. Database is nothing but a data. It is a meaningful data. There are different kind of data. Database is nothing but a meaningful data. It arranged the data in a meaningful form.
Yeah. So actually, what the data is means the database. It has a relation. It will have the relation between the tables and the rows,
Yeah.
and it will be organized in a means it's in the which is a user
Understandable format.
understandable and feasible manner. So, and there is a technology we have normalization. So I will not go into that one, but it
Yes,
follows
Rikam,
some of
can
the
you
rules of
increase your sound a
normalization.
little bit?
Okay, is it fine now?
No, somewhat.
So you are getting any disturbance?
No, I am not getting any disturbance, but your voice is low.
Okay, just a second. Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, there is a normalization concept will be there in the database. So what it will do is there are some of the normal forms will be there. So it is not related to the. It is not purely related, but it's a behind how it works. So the data will be in an organized manner. It will store in an organized manner so that the user can retrieve the data easily. Means in a faster manner. Okay. For example, it follows primary key. Means it will not allow duplicate keys. So sometimes you will store the data, and if it is having a duplicate keys, so you will get a wrong data. Means you can find you will once you retrieve the data, if you are having duplicate data, so you cannot judge what is the actual data, right? So for that, there are some normal forms will be there. So that will be applied in the database actually. So in that case, it will be the primary keys. So the primary key is nothing but it allows only unique. Means for example, the if you take the serial number, if you there is a one serial, if you are giving the serial number from 1 to 10, so it should not be repeated. Again, it has to start from 11, 12 like that. So there will not be any duplicate data. Okay. Beside that one, if you so that is a other concept. So if you are going into that one, it's a very lengthy process, but that is not required for us. For database, what we require is actually the database is a collection of logical structures and background processes. Okay, if you want, you can note down the points actually. Logical structures and background processes. You're okay, fine, right? My voice.
Yes, Rikam,
Yeah.
your voice is not clear.
Really? Still, you are facing the same.
Yeah. It's not okay.
Amit, you are also facing the same issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think somewhat fine. I'm not sure much.
Maybe due to this bad weather, the network is not clear. It seems. If you have
Yeah.
any,
Maybe.
if you are missing anything, you just let me know. I will repeat that one. Okay. So coming to the database, so it's a collection of background processes and logical structures. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Srikanth.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the Oracle architecture. Normally, we will come if you understand this architecture, right? So you will come to know how the data flow, it will go and how it works. Okay. So in this, as I said, some memory structure is nothing but PGA. You can see here, program global area. You are able to see, right? Program global area.
Yeah.
And SGA, system global area. These are the memory structures. So from whenever we install the any database, so we need to give some memory. So that memory is allocated from the database, and we will be giving some some amount of size, some 2 GB, 4 GB. It depends on our server capacity. So the database will work with this this memory, like in our for example, if you take more mobile phones, so it will have some memory, right? So like that, from our system, we need to allocate some memory to the database so that it can work to function. And along with that, there are some of the background processes who runs the database. So for example, if you are running, I will take some examples. If you, it helps to understand more. If you are taking one bike, okay, so for that you require fuel, tire, and air in the tire. So like that, in our database, to work it functionally, we need to have the background process like PGA and SGA. Let me open some WordPad, okay, so that you can get some points. Please let me know if you are missing something or if you want to understand more about anything. So PGA and HGA, these are the.
Yes, Srikanth, your screen is not visible. You are writing in Notepad?
Yes. Okay, let me share my whole. I think I need to share my.
What happened, Srikanth?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you can see, right?
yeah.
Yes.
So some memory structure. Okay. So these are a memory structure which will be given at the installation of a database. And along with that, when we start any database, there are background processes which work for database. The names are SMON, PMON, MMAN, MON, Archiver. So these are the background process. Okay. Can we? So you are able to see my screen, only one screen only you are seeing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Notepad. With this word.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll come here. So the HGA. So this is a major background process. Sorry, what we call memory structures which runs for any database. So it has the components as shared pool. You can note it down. So it will be easy for you for reference. Okay. It contains of shared pool, database buffer cache, redo log buffer, large pool, and Java pool. Okay. I will
And
explain you one by one.
I mean, this SGA, this is the memory, right? Which we are allocating at the time of installation.
Yes, memory, right. You are right.
Okay, so within that memory, again, it will be divided into shared pool, database, buffer cache, and
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you are right.
okay.
So we will be giving the name, the parameter is HGA, but within the HGA, this is the it is divided into these components. So these will be helped to write the data and get the data and store the data and modify the data. So to behind all these things, these are divided into separate several parts. So the shared pool. First, we will go with the shared pool. The shared pool, which is the area where the processing. So whenever any user requests, for example, user writes on any select query. Okay. So first it will come to this area, shared pool. In the shared pool, so it is also divided into multiple parts like library cache, data dictionary cache, and result cache. So the library cache, what it will do, you are writing some query like select star from EMP. You will not understand in one time, so we'll explain later also. But initially, you need to understand how the database architecture is. Okay. Going further, you will come to know more deeper. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go to the headings only. In deep, we'll go one by one. Okay. And this is a database buffer cache. This is used to store the data. Whenever you write any insert data, so it will store here first. It will not go to the database directly.
Yeah, Srikanth, only shared pool, it will work as a retrieving data.
No. What it will do, as I said, when you write some select star from BMP, right?
Yeah.
So when you write that query, first it come to the shared pool. Within the shared pool, there is a library cache. Okay. So what it will, in the library cache, you can see this shared SQL area, right? You are seeing this hash value SQL source execution plan, right? So what it will do, it will check for the syntax errors. You are writing the SQL query that select star from MP. You know that is correct, but from database end, it will check whether the return query is correct or not. That is syntax checking.
Okay.
It will do some checking. One is syntax checking, another one is semantic check. Semantic means you are writing some select star from EMP, right? Are you having the proper access to the table, or the table name which you mentioned in the query is available or not? It comes under semantic checks. Okay. And later what it will do, it will go with the execution, means it will retrieve the data and it will execute. That part will happen in the data dictionary cache. So this is a buffer actually. So the data will be stored in the database in a file format, right?
Okay.
So if you are writing that query select star from EMP, the data will not be here in the buffer. So where it will be there? It will be there in the database. That is data files and temporary files. In the database files it will have. So what it will do, when you write one query from a shared pool, a library cache to, it will check for the buffer. So if it is not there in the buffer, it will ask the server process. Whenever any what we call request comes from the user, there is a server process created. What it will do, it will look for the data in the database and send it to user. Okay. And sometimes what it will do, you are writing the query multiple times, running the query, you have written the query select star from EMP. So at that time it is writing the data from the data files. So again you are writing the data. At that time what it will do, it will skip all the steps. Like it will when the data is written, it will store in the buffer for some time. When you write the execute the query again, it will retrieve from the buffer. So at that time you will get the data faster. Instead of getting from the files, from the buffer you will get the data fast. So for that the buffer cache is useful. And one more thing, you are inserting some data. Okay, the data will be, the query come to the shared pool. From there it goes to database buffer cache. Here the data will be stored, and from here the data will be written to the data files using DB writer. This is one of the background process which is used to write the data from the database buffer cache to the database files. And there are some conditions when to write the data. For example, the buffer cache is having some 8 MB size. Okay, so it will check some conditions like every 3 seconds. Okay, every 3 seconds it will write the data from the database buffer cache to database files using this background process DB database writer. Okay, and the query which you have written select star from EMP, that SQL command will be stored in the read log buffer. This will be used at the time of recovery. So any recovery is happening, so at that time the read log buffer will be used to retrieve the data or recover the data. In this scenario, you have written one query. Okay, you got the output. Sometimes you have deleted some data. Okay, and what it will do, it will go to the database and it is deleted, and you committed the data and the data will be deleted permanently. So later sometime after 1 week or 10 days, how you will come to know what happened and who deleted the data. So to track that one, the return query, the delete statement will be stored in the read log buffer, and then from buffer, the read log writer, it will write the data from the online read log files. The data which is there in the SGA, that will be temporary. Everything will be stored in the permanent. It depends on some conditions. From database buffer cache to database files by the DB writer, and the read log buffer data will be written to read online read log files using read log writer. Okay, so whenever any recovery happens, so if the database in recovery mode, you will from there you will find, okay, this is the delete command it written was executed, so due to that the data will be removed. So that for tracking purpose, all the queries we have executed, that will be stored in the read log buffer, and from there it will return to the read log files. And there are for every database you should have a minimum 2 read log groups. Okay, you will come to know later. And the read log group size will be minimum 100 MB to 2 GB by 3 GB.
Here I have a doubt. Okay.
Okay.
In online reader logs, can we see the deleted query?
No, you can't see. It is in encrypted form. You cannot see that. But there is some tool is there. You can get that log file data from the to text format.
Okay. You said that in undo reader log, in that we can find deleted or anything what happened in the database. We can see. So where we can, in undo.
Yeah, undo the means you can see means the query you cannot see, but data. So in the buffer, as I said, the delete, right, and the delete, you are right. But the thing is, you are asking about the query or data.
Both. I want to see both. Is it possible?
Yeah. Yeah, the query will be in the read log files, and the data will be in the, once you commit, it will not be there. Before commit, it will be there in the undo. And I will tell you one more example. If you are updating one data, there is some data it is having with the name with the Hyderabad. Okay. And you want to update the data from Hyderabad to Bangalore.
Okay.
Okay. When you do write that update query, what it will do, first it return to the DB buffer, and the query will be written to the log file, that DB log buffer, and the data will be written using DB writer to the database. The latest data, now the Hyderabad becomes Bangalore. That data will be written in the data files. When you select a city from, say example, some EMP table, you will get the data from Bangalore instead of Hyderabad. Yeah. before update, if you get the select city from Hyderabad table, you will get the Hyderabad, or after the update, you will get Bangalore. And that old data, which is having the name of Hyderabad, that will be stored in the undo. There is another table space, okay, that will be stored, used to store the undo data, means old data. There's a different concept we will come to know later, okay. That has some parameters and everything, but you will come to know, you will understand one by one. And this data, once this read log buffer writes the data from read log writer to the online read log files, from there archives will be generated. Once the that size what we given 1 MB or 1 GB, once the size is full, that will be written as a archive file. That is the job of archiver. There is a one more background process, okay, that will be stored as a archive logs. So this is a mini basic thing, and the as I said, there's a background process like system SMAN. I have written the notepad, right? SMAN. SMAN is nothing but system monitor, and the PMAN is nothing but process monitor. What this SMAN do? Whenever any abnormal situation, for example, you're working on the server, suddenly there is a power shutdown, or the server crashes, you are doing some updates or inserts. So there are multiple operations will be happen in the database, right? So whenever any this kind of disaster or crash happen in the database, this PMAN will come into the picture. What is the job of the SMAN? What is the job of SMAN? What it will do, it will retrieve the data with the help of redo log files and undo files. You said right, undo data. So the redo, what it will have, all committed and uncommitted data. First, what it will do after restart or the server crashed, right? So you will try to restart the database. So when it is coming up, what it will do initially, it will look for the redo log files, and it will apply all the data which is there in the redo log files to the database. What redo log files contains committed and uncommitted data. So all will be applied to the database. And after that, what it will do, using the undo table space, it will try to remove all the uncommitted data. So what is the intention of SMAN is to make the database consistent. So further, there are two tasks will be happen whenever any system crash. One is the naming there is a naming convention we have, roll forward and roll backward. Roll forward is nothing but applying the read log data to database, which the read log data which contains committed and uncommitted data to the database. This is roll forward. And in the second step, roll backward. What it will do, using undo. Undo data, it knows what is the old data, what is the uncommitted data. So
Yes.
using the undo,
Can you repeat once again forward that?
yeah, sure. So whenever any system crash happen, right? So the SMAN job is, I will explain in the notepad, okay? For some time. Share.
Hey, yes, man, I understood. If anything happened during the system, like shutdown or anything happened, instantly it works. Right? And
Yeah, it invokes, right?
you restart the system again, we will get committed data, and as well as uncommitted data also we will get.
Correct. So as soon as the SMAN process came up, it will do two processes, the roll forward and roll backward. So that roll forward is nothing but applying redo data to the database which contains
Committed and uncommitted also.
Yeah, correct.
In rollback, only committed. Am I right?
No, uncommitted. Uncommitted and uncommitted data will be applied. Applied. Okay. In the first step. And the second step, what it will do, it will remove
Committed data.
uncommitted data, not committed, using
Rollback.
undo. Yeah. So if you remove the committed data, so it is not consistent, right? The main work is to make the database is consistent. Should be consistent so that you can get the exact data, right? If the database is not consistent, so you will not get the proper data. So to make that one, it follows the two steps. Roll forward, it applies the redo data from database which has committed and uncommitted data. Good. And in the roll backward, remove the uncommitted data using the undo table space. You will come to know table space later. Okay.
Yes,
So
we can.
yeah.
In rollback, we will only get committed data. Am I right?
Yes. What it will do, you will. So you for now you will get some confusion here, but you come to know later. But the as you said, rollback is nothing but it will do the uncommitted data. For example, you are writing some data like you are changing the data. I will explain with the example.
Yeah.
Now the current,
If you write after creating data, if you write commit, it will be saved. Am I right?
right.
Uh,
So for example, the location is Hyderabad. Okay, you will understand easily. Okay. Now the location name is Hyderabad. Okay, and you are updating
Chennai.
To
Chennai.
Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one statement. Okay, in another statement, someone is writing Bangalore to Pune. This is another statement.
Okay.
This is statement one. STMT. This is statement one, and this is statement two.
Okay.
In the statement one, you did change it from Hyderabad to Chennai, and in statement two, from Bangalore to Hyderabad. And this was, once it is done, what you did, you committed the data, and this one not committed, so you have not given the commit statement. What will happen once this commit is happen, the data will be stored to the data files, actual data files, which stores permanently.
Okay.
Okay, and this uncommitted, so this old data, once this committed, if this is committed, the old data will be
Stored in data.
stored in the undo, right?
Yeah. Okay.
This is also in undo. So when any system crash happens, first it will go for the logs and it applies all the committed and uncommitted. It will apply both this. So one is Chennai, one is Pune, using this roll forward method.
Yeah.
This is the first step.
Okay.
And this one, the second step, roll backward means remove the uncommitted data. So here you have written the query, but you have not committed.
We only
Okay.
get committed data in
Yeah,
rollback.
and what it will do, it will roll back. Using this one, the Pune will be changed to. So once the system came up, it has the data Chennai.
Hyderabad.
No, Chennai and Bangalore. Hyderabad already committed, right? this one Hyderabad is updated as Chennai and committed,
Yeah.
and this Bangalore is not committed.
Okay.
So once the system recovers, it has the data with the one row as Chennai, one is having Bangalore. So it is consistent. So this statement is not completed, right? So once it is completed, then only it has complete.
Okay.
Okay. So later you will come to know more. Okay. For now,
Yeah.
I'm just giving this.
If we
this
do
ex-
commit, it will give new value. Otherwise, it will give old value. That's it.
Right. Why? Because, for example, if you take any transaction, I will go with the example.
Yeah.
You have entered the ATM center, you have inserted ATM and you have withdrawn some amount. Initially, you have withdrawn 10,000 rupees, and again you try to do the one more transaction. And in between, due to some network or error or some happen, and you have not received the amount. But what it will do, you have received a message that 10,000 rupees debited. Okay, but you have not received the amount.
Yeah.
After 1 hour or within half an hour, what happens? You will receive the email that again the 10,000 which is not received, you have created to your account, right?
Yeah.
How it is happening? In the background, in the database, there is a set of transaction will be written. What is first step? You have insert the code, and it will you have enter the, it will do some validations like in our SGA how the statement it will work like that. In the first step, what it will do, read the card, okay, and validate the card. I'm giving with the example, okay, validate the card, and you enter the amount, okay, and receive the amount. So transaction is completed. But in the second time when you retrieve the amount, withdrawal amount, this was not done. Only you have entered the amount but not received. So what it will do, once this amount is received na, at the ATM, what it will happen, there's an acknowledgement. Once this is done, it will give the acknowledgement to the uh, statement that it is completed. The transaction is completed, like that you will give the acknowledgement. But here in the second case, you have not received the amount, so it will not receive the acknowledgement that the amount is not dispatched. So what it will do all the rollbacks. It will back